Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Well, fresh off my visit to St. Louis, where I learned that the EPA was telling the residents there, you know what, don't worry about the fact that we are now finding thorium and radium and other nuclear contaminants in the groundwater. It's perfectly fine. It's going away from your town. This is the way that the EPA is, of course, treating the people there and testing us. Well, as soon as I got back, we're hearing this story, Sacramento residents exposed to carcinogen in their drinking water. And I was not surprised to hear about this. Rob Dew is joining me now. So talk a little bit about the City of Sacramento. They were testing a new chemical at their main water treatment plant.
That's right.
Found out it causes cancer.
They've been testing what they called aluminum chlorohydrate. And what that does is it's a chemical that goes in and binds with the bigger particles that they pump out of the river water there. There's a couple rivers running through Sacramento. And then that falls down to the bottom of these holding tanks, and then they pump the water out of the top, treat it a little more, run it through some other filtration, put fluoride in it, and then they pump it to your house. Well, so the problem is with this aluminum chlorohydrate, it doesn't do a very good job. So they have to add more chlorine than they normally do. And what happens with the chlorine? Well, it creates these things called disinfection byproducts, or DBPs. And actually, we played some of this video yesterday with David Knight, but let's go ahead and run that first video that we played yesterday, or part of that, just explaining what DBPs are, how they become, how they are created in the water supply, and what it means to people out there. So let's go to that
investigation with some scary revelations about the City of Sacramento's drinking water. For almost a year, the city added a new chemical to the drinking water.
It started as a short-term test of a water treatment chemical called aluminum chlorohydrate, or ACH. The chemical was temporarily replacing another water treatment chemical called alum. Sacramento's utility director says the test was all about one thing.
There was an expectation that we'd be able to save quite a bit of money.
In a report the city filed with state regulators, the city admits that the ACH chemical they were testing didn't do a good enough job removing some of those impurities. To make up for the chemical's lack of effectiveness, the city had to pump in more chlorine. And when the chlorine and these organic compounds spend too much time together, the chlorine can turn into disinfection byproducts, DBPs, in your drinking water. The chemical trial went on for an entire year, and during that year, according to internal tests the city was performing, reading after reading went above what the EPA considers safe for long-term exposure to DBPs. A city chemist noticed DBP problems on the third day of testing. She wrote in an email to managers, "I'm nervous about the distribution samples." A chart that went along with that email showed DBPs way above the EPA limits.
Wow. So they can't even say that they were doing it with good intentions to give them nice, fresh, clean drinking water. They knew that it was a problem and just kept on.
They kept doing it for a whole year. And we got another clip talking about how long this was going on and what DBPs can do. But if you go to the EPA website and you type in disinfectant byproducts, it brings up some of the ones that are created with that and the health effects. And most of these, they have in there increased risk of cancer. Some infants and young children who drink water containing chlorate in excess of the MCL, that's the minimum limit that they want in there, could experience nervous system effects similar to what occur in fetuses of pregnant women who drink water contaminated with chlorate. That's one of them that do that. Some people experience anemia. A lot of these, they are carcinogens. And there's a whole list of them here as to what these DBPs are and what they, what they are, how they occur, and then what their health effects are. If you go to the CDC, they talk about 4 major ones that are here. You can see them here. I'll just rip that off. Chloroform, bromodichloromethane, dibromochloride methane, and bromoform.
Wow.
And so I got a text, and the reason I'm bringing this back up again, I got either a text or an email. I forget how it came to me because I get a lot of information. I just looked. It wasn't on my Twitter. It wasn't in the comments of the video that we did yesterday with David. But somebody said, I have a clearly filtered pitcher, what we sell at Infowarsstore.com, and they asked, does it filter out these? I couldn't find it. Well, if you go on each of the products of all the water filters that we sell, there's detailed filtration sheet. So there's the clearly filtered pitcher right there. That's what the person was talking about. And if you scroll down a little bit, you can actually go to the detailed list of that was done with the City of Los Angeles. So you can scroll down, you can read what it filters out, how much of the reductions, And, you know, these picture systems, the filters are smaller. It's sort of like comparable to something like a Brita or something like that. And these things are not made to filter out massive amounts of material. They do a good job of getting out chlorine and some heavy metals and stuff like that, but they're not going to get everything. Now, if you go to, let's go to ProPure. We have another from Envirotech Laboratories. You go to the ProPure page and then scroll down, show people how they could find this on their own. You can click on those test results right there. And so let's look at the first one. The first one's chloroform, and you can find that on page 2. You can actually go to my overhead camera shot, guys, and you can see that here. Here's chloroform, and it pulls it out at 99.1% right there. You might need to zoom in a little bit more so people can see it at home. There we go. Chloroform right there. That's one of the first of those DBPs. Also next is bromodichloromethane. It gets that out at 99.6%, and then bromoform at 99.6%. I could not find anything for dibromochloromethane, but I did find lots of things that sounded like that. I'm not a scientist. I'm not going to pretend to be.
Yeah,
I can barely pronounce these words.
We see here that it's been filtered out to about 98.6%, but like you said,
right,
the acronyms and stuff can get a little jumbled.
Exactly. So of those 3, it does filter those out. I'm sure there's a version of this in here. I'm just not a scientist, so I'm not going to pretend. If I didn't find the exact spelling, I didn't go with it. Now, Alexa Pure is what we just started selling. And this is even, I didn't think it could get any better than that, but Alexa Pure Pro, I mean, you could say 99.9%. Well, is that almost 100? You know, you can almost say 100, but look, here's chloroform. You see, there you could go to the sheet and look at the advanced filtration test. Same thing. Here we go, chloroform right there, 99.9%. Bromodichloromethane, 99.9%. Bromoform, 99.9%. So the Alexa Pure Pro, yes, Alexa Pure Pro, those are even more outstanding than the ProPure, which both are outstanding filters. I have ProPure at my house.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing setup. It's huge. I have it with, it gets like 3.5 gallons that I could filter out at a time.
Now, when I think of chloroform, I always think of scary movies because I was always conscious of the fact that that's what they used to abduct people. They would put a little on the thing and then cover your mouth and you pass out.
Yeah, just drink it.
It's okay.
Yeah, just drink it.
It's totally fine.
And so the City of Sacramento ran these tests for a year. Let's get that number 2 clip ready. And this tells you how long they had it, how high the concentrations were, and you know the fact that they really didn't do anything about it. And what are the effects of it?
It's a likely carcinogen, can cause cancer, low birth weight, and even miscarriages.
There you go.
This community was basically looked at as a laboratory guinea pig in that they were exposed for a period of up to 1 year without any proper notification whatsoever.
Test after test revealed numbers in excess of the EPA safe drinking water standard of 80 parts per billion. Some people were drinking water with DBP levels above 130 parts per billion. People in Sacramento were never notified about the dangers, never given that choice to opt for bottled water, even though the city had all kinds of data that showed they had a serious problem. DBPs are nothing to mess around with.
In first trimester pregnancies, there's significant rise in miscarriages, and in third trimester, there's evidence of low birth weight.
Why not stop it? Because these are carcinogens, and that's one thing, I mean, the carcinogens, but we know that, you know, for pregnant women, unborn children, this is bad stuff.
Because we had the anticipation of saving money with using ACH.
Yeah. So
it's always opt for bottled water. It's just completely.
I wouldn't even do
me.
bottled water. There's so much crap in there.
True.
The plastic's leaching. I would just filter your water, get a ProPure system or an Alexa Pure Pro system, or get one of the pitchers. At least do something. You got to start somewhere. And the more you filter your water, the better it'll taste, and the more nutritious it will be for you in the long run.
Yeah, just incredible. And I really appreciate that you pulled out those test results because it really puts it in perspective when you see all of the chemicals that are filtered out.
That is just a tip of the iceberg with those chemicals. There's so much other things that the filters do to pull out, especially fluoride. A lot of these pull out a lot of the fluoride.
Until we can get the city to take it out.
Exactly.
Got to do it ourselves, take it into our own hands. Well, Rob, thank you so much. And thank you all for watching the show tonight. That's it for us. But if you are watching us on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And you can also become a subscriber to prisonplanet.tv. There, you're going to find 18 years worth of high-def, high-quality content that you're not going to find in the mainstream media. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Can't be
7
censored.
p.m. Central.
It cannot be censored.
Break down why you're so proud of these filters.
Well, I mean, the Alexa Pure is really a culmination of all of my experience. It was posed to me as an extremely challenging project. They wanted a product that would actually operate without any electricity, so it had no pressure. You had to do it all by gravity. And they really effectively said, we need everything imaginable to be removed efficiently, way higher than 99%. And so the result was it's an extreme challenge. Worked on it for quite a long time. And basically what we've done is we've created the only filter, to my knowledge, that hits all three. It will remove effectively all the major metals, all the major non-metals such as fluoride. It will take out all known microbiological threats, including viral, bacterial, and cyst. And it will take out organic chemicals, pretty much everything, without exception. It's a very, very powerful device. I don't believe that there's anything else out there in the world that can do that, especially under gravity flow conditions. The fit and finish are fantastic. No compromise was made on the quality of the construction. So, I mean, it's really a remarkable achievement on their part, and I feel very proud, actually, to be part of the team that put that together.
What's your view overall on fluoride?
Well, okay, so we actually tested against both the fluoride ion and the fluorosilicate that you mentioned, which is the additive that people put into water under federal control. And basically, we removed both of them with equal efficiency. So we wanted to be sure that no matter how fluoride is added to the water, it can be intercepted and removed. So that's how we've dealt with that. All I can tell you is that we tested against all known fluoride chemicals that are added to water, the new ones and the old ones, and we removed them all of equal efficiency.
And it's your belief that this is the best gravity-fed filter of the design out there available to the public?
Without a doubt. I mean, most of these gravity flow filters are at best simple particulate filters. They remove dirt and debris, sediment. They're not going to be capable of intercepting a viral particle to the degree we're talking quantitative reduction below detection. No one can touch that kind of capability.
Well, I'm impressed, and I want to thank you so much for your time today. It is the Alexa Pure Pro family of water filtration systems available, discounted exclusively at InfoWarsStore.com. I want to thank Mr. Red Hawk for allowing us to be part of the launch of this. It's on sale right now for their main unit, $177. Leading competitors that aren't even as good are more than that. And they've also got the survival spring type straw system for survival that is an absolute must-have.